In ARPGs, the season mechanic is one of the most important things that makes a season a season. It is also one of the most important things that some players look at to decide if they are going to actually play that season. Season 1 added a couple things with their mechanic. First being Malignant elites that drop hearts that can augment your powers and build to be even more powerful than they were in the preseason. It also added a whole new dungeon type called Malignant Tunnels. Now, to help you decide if Diablo 4 Season 1's mechanic is good or not, I did 100 Malignant Tunnels in a row. Now, I know exactly why I decided to do this. In fact, there are, as of recording this, 96,000 reasons that made me decide to do this. I'd like to take a second to thank you guys so much for all the support on my first video, the 300 sellers in a row. I did not expect it to have a shot at 100,000 views at all. And I thank you for all the subscribers and comments and all the interaction you guys gave it. And it has directly led to me making this video. That video, to do 300 sellers, took me about 7.5 hours. 100 Malignant Tunnels took me a whopping 12 hours and 20 minutes. I don't think how long it took me matters that much as compared to the seller video. Mostly because I don't think anyone should be doing 100 tunnels in a row. The reason I did it was more so the time it takes each tunnel to do and what you're gonna get out of that tunnel. Which is why I changed up the rules a little bit. On this one, I didn't use any XP elixir. So all of the XP I got was only boosted by the 8% of the season blessing bonus. And I also took the summoning rods that I had from my other characters and brought them into the tunnels. Because if you are going to be farming the tunnels, you are likely probably like level 50 plus. And you're going to have those summoning rods anyways. So you're going to get that guaranteed 1 heart at the end of the tunnels. So that being said, I will give you the rundown of everything I learned. First off, not only do you get hearts from these tunnels, but you get a resource called Ichor. You can use this Ichor to craft hearts or craft summoning rods. So the first thing that I did was I copied down my starting Ichor, because obviously I played 2 characters in this season before, so I had some to begin with. I started with 257 Brutal Ichor, 256 Devious, and 313 Vicious. I ended with 1,685 Brutal, 1,632 Devious, and 1,752 Vicious. Quite the increase. You get a lot of Ichor just dropping from killing mobs. I was regularly just bombarded with the Ichor falling from all of my kills. So this is not only good for straight up hearts, but also crafting the hearts in the future. And possibly having a chance at crafting the Wrathful Summoner. You can gamble your Ichor if you really want to. But let's move on to why I'm sure most of you are here. The hearts. I got a grand total of 466 hearts. Now I'd like to play a little game with you guys. Who wants to be a Malignant? Out of those 466 hearts, how many Wrathful hearts did I get? Was it A, 5, B, 8, C, 13, or D, 17? I'll give you a little bit of time Alright, I hope you're ready. Out of the 466 hearts I got a grand total of 8 Wrathful Hearts. The first heart I saw was on my 18th tunnel. The 8th heart I saw was on my 89th tunnel. Now, I did make a very important discovery with these. There was one time when I got my 5th heart on my 58th tunnel, and then the very next tunnel, I got my 6th Wrathful Heart. So, they don't seem to be spawn gated. I didn't think they were. But you could get Wrathful Hearts in back-to-back tunnels, which is, I think, a pretty good discovery. The issue I had with collecting all these hearts, and I teased this in the intro, they take a little too long to spawn, in my opinion. You're having these epic group-wide battles. You're slaying 10 mobs at a time on top of a Malignant elite, and then you kill the elite, and between you killing the elite and the time that the heart actually spawns the next elite, you, say, have enough time to hit that subscribe button. I was regularly checking my gear in between the time it took me to click the heart in the heart to actually spawn an elite. In my opinion, it slows down the gameplay a little bit too much. It probably added like 15 to 20 seconds per run. But speaking of time, let's look at the level breakdown. I did do this on a fresh character, so I can give you the non-boosted XP amounts, or how fast I leveled up. Keep in mind, I did not use an XP elixir. This is only the 8% from the Season's Blessings. So over the 12 hours and 20 minutes it took me, that comes out to about 7.5 minutes per tunnel. However, I was using a stopwatch for all this, and it was more around 7 minutes, 6.5. There were some that I was just slow on. So anywhere between 6 and 7.5 minutes is probably what you're going to be looking at for running each of these tunnels. It took me only 3 tunnels to get to level 10. That was 20 minutes. That's about how fast the sellers took, but it only goes down from there. Level 20 took me 12 tunnels at an hour and a half. Level 30 took me 3 hours and 15 minutes to get with 27 tunnels. Level 40, 56 tunnels, which is obviously around the halfway point. That took me 7 hours and 30 minutes. And then in the other half of all of the tunnels, I only got to level 48. I got to about level 45, which I'm putting this comparison up because that's how many levels I got in 300 sellers, at about 10 hours. So 3 hours slower to get to level 45, with the caveat that I was running some XP elixirs in the sellers because I allowed myself to use what I got from those. The reason I chose not to use any elixirs on the tunnels is because I didn't get my first elixir until I was around level 40. And I felt I'd already gone this far without it. It would probably just skew the numbers a little bit too much to be scientific. Quote unquote. We're calling this a science experiment. So now you know the level breakdown, all the hearts I got. I have a few other things that I learned. So to get these hearts, I did 33 brutal tunnels, 34 vicious tunnels, and 33 devious tunnels. This was A, because I ran out of brutal summoners because when you finish the Malignant tunnels, you get to spawn a Malignant mob for free at the end of it. So I ran out of those. And then I was like, oh, that's actually a pretty good idea. Let me even split this so that I get the even amount of hearts. You can actually tell which kind of tunnel it is. For example, voice crack. For example, the Dry Steps tunnels are Brutals. The Fractured Peaks tunnels are... Let me just check real quick so I don't get this wrong. Devious. And then the Hawazar tunnels are Vicious. It will actually tell you if you hover over the icon which one it is, if you forget. A couple other things I learned, and I think this is actually really interesting. While you are running these tunnels, there are no cursed events. If you see a shrine, that shrine is real. If you see a chest, that chest is real. You will not have to add any extra time killing a bunch of event mobs to get your shrine. It actually really speeds up how fast you can do these. However, that does mean that since there are no cursed events, you do not get any obols from doing these. I started with 6 obols on this character. I have 6 obols on this character at level 48 now. I did not get any, because I didn't do any events. So I can't cash that in for any gear. That is something to keep in mind. The loot, it started off pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie. But around level 25, it started getting really good. I don't know what changed, but after level 25, I was getting about 2 to 3 rare items per Malignant mob. I got about the same amount of legendaries as I did from the sellers, but it actually competed. Every 2 tunnels I did, I had to go back to deposit the hearts and sell or decraft my gear. So you get a decent amount of items from this too. It's definitely not something to scoff at. In particular, I got a lot of weapons. I was doing this on a barbarian. I don't know if they have just a higher weapon drop chance. I would assume they do since they can equip 4 of them. But I did notice that at least half of the gear I was getting was weapons. Now, would I run 100 Malignant tunnels again? Nah. I think I'm good. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support. All of the subscriptions, all of the likes, all of the comments, and just watching it. I thank you so much. I was looking at getting partnership in about a year. YouTube partner program. It's more looking like a month now because of all your support, so I thank you so much. If you enjoyed this one, make sure you like. Tell me your thoughts on any of this. I responded to over 100 comments on the last video. I'll probably do the same for this one. I love chatting with you guys. I love hearing your thoughts. So let me know what you think about all this. And I do have something to tease. On my next character, I will be doing 50 Tree of Whispers in a row. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. Again, thank you so much for watching. My name is Cynical, signing off.